Good afternoon, colleagues. Let's start it. So today, our ADB Circular Economy Working Groups organize once again the knowledge sharing events, which will mainstream the solution for a circular economy transition in Asia and the Pacific. This webinar series is part of our knowledge sharing and capacity building program aiming to showcase technology solution, new approach, emerging issue, and case studies on circular economy. Let's welcome our guest, Ms. Subri Joret of the ASM Global. Today, we are honored to invite her to share her journey on accelerating circularity and just transition through digital solutions. Ms. Subri Joret is the founder and of the ASM Global. She is a leader and innovator in sustainability solutions, driving digital transformation for circular economies. As the founder of ASM Global, she has pioneered RecycleX, a cutting-edge platform that enables traceability, transparency, and accountability in material supply chains. Her work has spanned more than 40 countries, tracking 700 million kilograms of sustainable materials and supporting governments in implementing extended producer responsibility, we call EPR, mandates, industry in plastic recycling, sustainable textile, sustainable agriculture, aviation fuels, and waste to value solution. Her works has been recognized by UNEP and the World Wide Fund for Nature. She has been championed on the use of the technology data digital product passport to accelerate material circularity, provided that smart system can power real world sustainability impact. So I would like to hand over to Ms. Supriya to start her presentation for 30 to 35 minutes. And afterward, we will have around 20 to 25 minutes for the Q&A. I will moderate the section. Subi, so the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Terry. And thank you everyone on this call for making the time to attend this session. And I'm really thankful for ADB Circular Economy Working Group for providing an opportunity to present our solution here. Okay. So we'll talk about the material circularity platform, but before we do that, I'll just quickly walk you through what RecycleX is and how we are benefiting different stakeholders across the value chain. So RecycleX is an end-to-end digital traceability tool, which is designed to help organizations operate an efficient supply chain, demonstrate the claim provenance, and generate the sustainability impact, which can be measured through almost 10 to 20% reduction in the cost across the value chain, as well as improvement in the revenue in the order of 5 to 10%. So far, we have been able to track 7 million kilograms of material through our platform. That includes different sector, different commodity, right from municipal solid waste, plastic, organic cotton, textile, used cooking oil, to sustainable aviation fuel, some amount of strawberry, coffee, seafood, etc. All these commodities we are tracking through our platform. And that makes us present across 40 countries, and we are serving more than 50 clients across different segments. So what enabled the birth of RecycleX as a platform? I would say it was the supply chain challenges that we have seen across different segments working in this industry. Like we have seen so many recycling claims or sustainability claims or greenwashing claims which have no provenance, or they lack the kind of trust they needed while they were making those claims. And so there are three major factors that we'll talk about. First one is inefficiency due to the lack of supply chain visibility, the stock monitoring or the inventory, etc. So there is that's one. Then there are suboptimal segregation or route planning, which leads to high operating cost, and the limited access to the market, limited visibility across what other stakeholders are doing and what are the pricing information across different players. So that triggers the revenue loss, which ultimately leads to a trust deficit because of the risk of double counting. Maybe since there is no such structured bookkeeping or accounting practices that have been followed because of lack of adequate chain of custody across the material movement between the different stakeholders. There was no track or a proper track of different materials while it is moving from collection to processing or recycling. And even if it was practice, there were so many of Excel sheets or spreadsheets or mobile based WhatsApp kind of forwards or some Google Drive kind of documents we used to share here and there. And it leads to the regulatory hurdles because at the time of auditing or verification, there could be lack of the compliance requirement meeting or the paperwork that is required, and thus ultimately leading to error in those compliance filings or result in the hefty penalties. And ultimately, it leads to the reputation risk for the brands or for the recyclers. So now, what we have seen across the material supply chain is there is lack of visibility of the origin of material, where the material is getting processed or sorted, then what are the recycling potentials, where it is getting recycled, and ultimately how the product is getting created. So every stakeholder is not having the visibility of what from where they are getting all this material, who has collected, whether it is informally collected or whether it is collected from what sources, from landfills, or whether the material is being handled in a facility with lack of proper sanitary and hygienic practices, etc. And again, when it comes to documentation, there was no structure in the paperwork. And again, when the pricing kept on being volatile, since it is a very fragmented market, a lot of dependency on informal sector, it leads to uncertainty in the overall supply and demand of any material. And there are ERP solutions or point solutions available, which are either overpriced or they are ineffective due to the fragmentation in the supply chain. So what we enable the end-to-end digital supply chain, which track the material from its origin, where it is getting processed, what are the different material they are forming, either in the form of recycling or alternate recycling, etc., and what is the product that is made through this value chain. So what Recyclex enable is first the business digitization that includes the real-time business monitoring across the value chain. It ensures the inventory management and the digital documentation, which leads to end-to-end material tracking and material traceability. Since Recyclex is built on ISO 22095's chain of custody standards, it provides the digital chain of custody. And since it is built on multi-factor data authentication, so it ensures all those problems that we discussed previously are addressed. And that helps unlock the monetization for recyclers as well as brand owners, etc., to produce the premium by displaying their DPP capabilities or earning through the EPR or impact credits, and also make them ready for the impact capitals. So Recyclex works on different consoles. It has a web console for administrative and reporting and monitoring purposes. And it inputs the data through a mobile application, which is an handheld device. It can be on your mobile device, as well as it works on the point of sale kind of POS machines as well, to generate the receipts at the point where the material is getting collected, etc. It is cloud native and it is built on blockchain. So it can be integrated for making the data immutable, and no duplicacy can be thus generated. The solution is currently proven across the world. Like I mentioned, we are present across 40 countries. Our technology is endorsed by UNCTCN, and we have been featured by different groups under UN as well as Worldwide Fund, etc. And currently, we have been recognized, of course, across multiple forums. The platform is adopted not only by the CEOs as well as the workers across the segment, right from the bottom of the pyramid. So it works on the hierarchy from the bottom to the top, and thus the platform is of course being used by different stakeholders for their different requirements. Now, in 2000, so we will talk about the EPR promulgation in the Philippines and how this waste management practices have improved. So I would like to quote Senator Cynthia Villar. The EPR Act institutionalized the extended producer responsibility mechanism as a practical approach to efficient waste management, focusing on waste reduction, recovery, and recycling. In line to that, the EPR mandates the different procedures. So it was the objective of what we call as RA 11898 or the EPR Act of 2022, which defines this practice as for every amount of plastic product footprint created, an equivalent amount thereof is recovered or removed from the environment by the product producers through an efficient waste management system. So that requires recycling as well as co-processing as the means, but it also requires that the EPR claims are backed by data to ensure that these records are traceable, at least to the level of LGU or barangay from where the material got collected, should be quantifiable into the respective rigid or plastic category for the reporting purposes, how they got recycled or co-processed, and the data for the collection and recovery of plastic should be made available to the auditor for compliance audit and verification. Now, the challenges were double counting, lack of traceability, and there was no chain of custody. So, for example, we are working with different recyclers. We are also working with the local government units. So, local government units, they have limited or no visibility how the plastic waste was treated after it is going away from their collection MRF or the collection points or the junk shops, or even the recyclers have limited or no visibility as to what was the source of plastic waste they are processing. And they have a very limited information about who collected it and from where did they collect, etc. To overcome these issues, we custom built a software which is called the Plastic EPR portal for the Philippines EPR regulations, which enable these waste diverters, recyclers, co-processors to monetize the impact they are creating and providing tangible data for the audit as well. So I'll talk about some of the features here. It enables the easy adoption and comprehensive tracking and tracing of material. It demonstrates the proof of work. It enables third-party audits and generate the compliance reports. So how it does is it is equipped with the stakeholder registry, which creates a unique, immutable digital identity of every stakeholder right from the point of origin and till it finally reaches the recycler and even converted into the new product, which enable the end-to-end chain of custody of the material. And plastic processing records and store it records and store all the plastic waste processing information using the tamper-proof records. And it works on the wallet-based system, which allows the credits to be sold only once, which ultimately eliminate the double counting or fraudulent practices. So how it was a game changer in the fight against plastic pollution. So when it comes to performance monitoring, as I mentioned, there was no clear visibility as to what is happening at what stage. So the tool allows these municipal bodies to track the effectiveness of their EPR program, because ultimately when we talk about plastic or municipal waste, it comes with a responsibility of the municipality, but there is lack of clear visibility. So it enables them with that visibility. It also works on the social and financial inclusion of different stakeholders throughout the value chain, and overall improve the recycling rate by providing a demand supply visibility to the recyclers. I'll talk about this case study in Plaridel. So Plaridel is a class 1 city municipality in the Philippines in Bulacan province. And it runs a plastic recovery program through schools, community center, and city hall. So the collection to recycling is recorded through this platform. In the year 2024, Plaridel diverted around 700 tons of plastic waste away from nature and generated the plastic diversion credits as per the RA 11898. And that makes us Plaridel the first city, first EPR ready city, and the first city in the Philippines as an LGU to generate the EPR credits. So how this program worked. So since Plaridel is like it's a class 1 city, it has 19 barangays, and all 19 barangays took part in this program. As a city, Plaridel generates around 40 to 60 tons of waste every day, of which like 10 to 12% used to be the plastic waste. And currently, as of we started this program in June 23 by signing the MOU with the city. And we spread this program across different schools, different stakeholders that include the junk shops as well. We did the formalization of these junk shops and the curbside collectors. They were all onboarded. Then there were school like teachers and students. They also participated in this program. So in 2024, of course, we have moved 700 tons of plastic and generated RA 11898 compliant audited EPR credits, which were then bought by the different OEs. So how this project works? So we initially invested in this project for the development of the software, but ultimately when this project ultimately got deployed, city also started generating the revenue. So there was no upfront cost for any city, but it was an additional revenue for the city municipality. And we do of course share the revenue. Well, 70% of the revenue goes to the city, and it's kind of an additional revenue to the city municipality. So while we did 700 tons in 2024, we are targeting around 1,000 metric tons in the year 2025. So we are also onboarding a couple of new recyclers, as well as the new channel partners, be it the bulk waste generators or the junk shops as well, for this program. So this is a high-level impact that has been created. The close to 1 million peso revenue has been generated for the city municipality. There were more than 75 communities who partnered with us. There were more than 100 collectors who got benefited. More than 50% shops got formalized, and around 700 tons plastic upcycled, while a million kg of plastic of material got source segregated. In this program, of course, while recyclers were very critical, there were obliged entities like Yara Fertilizer or Zesto Corporation. We all aware of these obliged entities. So they were very keen to become a part of this program, and they also helped us building this relationship and creating this impact. So whatever the gap funding was required for such project, of course, EPR has been instrumental in generating those funds, so that can help ultimately the curbside collectors as well. And I'm very thankful to the mayor of municipality of Plaridel, Mayor Josel Vistan, for her constant support and enthusiasm to participate in this program. And of course, these are some of the glimpses as to how we have introduced this program to the city and the schools. Currently, we are present across 5+ LGUs in the Philippines, and we are working with more than 25 recyclers and co-processors, and 50,000 metric tons of material has been registered through the platform. So that's about it. Happy to take the questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Supi. Yeah, it's very powerful presentations and much. Actually, you have addressed many of my questions already. So, just like we just discussed before the session started, how the system being paid for. So it is really generate the gap fund from the EPR system itself, and then you can sell with the traceability, accountability on those plastic segregated and recycled can be upcycled and sell to a maybe high profit sectors. So it seems a really a win-win game. So either on the one way, the municipality get the additional revenue with a very minor or almost nothing in the upfront cost. But in this, on the other hand, you have built a trust with them, so they are willing to work with you together, have the this cost sharing uh, um, partnership. So in that sense, what kind of the policy reform or we so-called enabling environment can help the new company like your company using this very robust technology? I think the technology itself, I'm not the expert, I'm not trying to ask for more, but what kind of a policy can really help, especially in the EPR law, can strengthen your position and make you easier to get the support from the LGU and also the get from issues. So I will raise this first, and then I will let the other colleagues to chip in. Because I already see some questions, but please answer this first, and then I will go for the questions from the chat
Sure.
box.
Sure. So I would say the instruments like we are coming up with the Global Plastic Treaty, which was supposed to get concluded last November, December, but it couldn't happen, and we are supposedly having it concluded this year. So the instruments like this, or the policy principles like EPR, they do contribute a lot in these kind of initiatives, because ultimately when we kind of gather the different stakeholders across this value chain, because as I mentioned, it is kind of a fragmented ecosystem. So we need to put some efforts to formalize them and to bring them into the mainstream, to connect these different stakeholders so that they can interact with each other and there is no loss of information or loss of resources happen in the supply chain. So yes, these instruments are really helpful in building the overall social and financial inclusion across the pyramid.
Thank you. We got the first question, which is a bit not only technical but also practicality. So from the Kaisu Oscar Clan, so I don't know, he or she is very interested in the case studies. So she asked you whether how you were able to count the collected waste material and whether the this identification process have a classification algorithm. Uh, cite an example. Could you classify the material based on their unique properties? Because as far as he or she could see, people may confuse which bin to throw the waste away, and in the end, they may become kind of mixed. I think this is a valid question also for the municipality information. Thank you.
Mhm. So when it comes to waste segregation, of course, if we do practice waste segregation at home, but we see like the person who is coming and collecting this waste, he is ultimately putting all the stuff into one container. So that's kind of demotivating. But through consistent awareness activity and all, we could actually get the material sorted firsthand at the household and then monitor it on the tool, so that okay, they are claiming that okay, this much material we are disposing, and the one who is collecting is also acknowledging that this much of sorted material I have collected, and then it is going to certain material recovery facility or collection center. So at every point in time where there is change in material custody, it is recorded on the tool. So ultimately, so to ensure the end-to-end chain of custody from the point of origin, like from the household where it is going for the first collection point, through which recycler, through which curbside collector or which waste picker, then he is bringing to the central collection center. From there, it is getting again bundled into different bigger sacks, and then it is going to material recovery facility, from where it is channelized to either recyclers, or if it is meant for alternate recycling, like we are working on the multi-layer plastic kind of material which finds no way to recycle, but then there are ways and means for alternate recycling, which is a provision under RA 11898. So we are working with these recyclers who are making either the lumbers or the paver blocks, integrating these kind of non-recyclable plastic. So all this is ultimately tangible, and it is it can be monetized only if it is backed with the data. And this data, which gets generated throughout this value chain, is then audited. And ultimately, these credits are then bought by the obliged entities.
Yeah, thank you. That's very clear. So I want to also follow up on, I think this question is, there's another questions raised by Shian Laya from UNDP Philippines. I think she want to ask the experience working with the city LGU. She's particular interest on the collaboration you fought with OEs. I don't know what's the mean OEs. What are the important points that local governments can work on to engage business establishment plastic waste pollutions? Yeah, that's a very valid questions. Like the entry point, how can you work with them? What kind of the condition that you probably want your partners can show to you and get can work together?
Right. So obliged entities are very instrumental in this entire process, because we are limited in terms of our recycling capabilities, or the kind of material we are segregating and bringing it to the recyclers. So that's where the municipalities play a pivotal role, because they are the custodians of the municipal solid waste which is getting generated in their city. So if we improve the infrastructure in a city government, it ultimately leads to good revenue, not only for
Mm,
the municipality but also better yield for the recyclers. Because there are so many recycling facilities we have seen, like we work across the globe, so we have seen they are dying lack of feedstock. So there are so many recycling facilities who are underutilized because they have no visibility of the feedstock, like from where I'm going to get it. So these kind of obliged entities, when they tie up with the city municipality, it improves the overall the economy as well as the social inclusion, because then the curbside collectors or the junk shops who are informally kind of either collecting or moving it to the recyclers, or God knows in what direction this material was ending up, either into the dump sites, not even the sanitary landfill, or even into the water bodies. So these kind of programs channelize this material through proper route to recyclers as well as the authorized co-processors, etc.
okay. Yeah, I think that's very clear. I think from my point, I also want to ask how because we have a common understanding only recycling is not really circular economy. We want to see upcycling. So
Right.
in your case, you are able to achieve it because you have mentioned about actually you have source segregated the waste up to a million kilogram, and then in your case, pilot cities, and you help them to upcycle 70% of this to I think to become valuable products in this particular segment, what's the kind of investment or what kind of the infrastructure or policy you will need it to really help you to reach out to the buyers for the upcycle products?
So in terms of as a platform provider, of course, we have invested in the development of platform, but since the programs like EPR do help the overall ecosystem. So if it is done efficiently, there are city municipalities who are now making enough revenue. They can invest into the recycling programs at the city level. So they can invest into the better kind of material recovery facility with optimal segregation and sorting capabilities, and leading to a reasonably, I would say, a better quantity and a better quality of feedstock overall. So they could invest better into these kind of infra creation as well.
Okay. So thanks for the reminder. I think there's a one hand is raised from Christine. If you want to come forward
Yeah,
and then to
sure.
switch on your camera to ask the questions.
Yeah, happy to. Thank you. Thank you, Terry, and thank you, Surbi, for sharing this really great case study for Plaridel, and really great to see the first EPR ready LGU. I wanted to understand more in your selection process on how you had went about the selection of Plaridel as a LGU partner, as you're looking to potentially expand to other LGUs to bring this tech-enabled collection system for other LGUs. What is your approach in terms of the screening or selection criteria to determine the level of readiness of the LGU, and also going forward, given that there will be ongoing maintenance required for the program after launch, also how is your process of determining whether the LGU have the adequate capacities, and then also as uh, a part of your work with Plaridel in introducing the platform, were there also certain local ordinances that needed to be passed by Plaridel in order to introduce the measures for recycling and also upcycling that are mandatory within the LGU? So curious to hear your experience. Thank you.
Sure. So I'll start with the selection process. Actually, we are having this discussion with different city LGUs, but Plaridel, of course, the mayor has been one of the progressive mayor in the province. So she was really keen because there were so many recycling programs or the collection programs that were going on across the city. So she was really keen in participating those material recovery program. And most important was a strong intent. While we visited and we did all the assessment with the cities, we visited so many collection points across different barangays and see like what is the potential. And she was really keen as to how we can comply. So since as after RA 11898 was introduced, we always talked about the EPR readiness of different LGUs. So she was really keen to become a part of this program. It was, I would say, again, the strong intent and her leadership that actually initiated this program in Plaridel.
Right. Okay.
Again,
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, and when we talk about sorry and when we talk about the population of this overall program to the different stakeholders, of course it was the role of city municipality as well. They helped us along with these campaigning while we worked across different junk shops, different curbside collectors, or even the school programs. So they were very actively participating in those programs as to how better they can do for the city, how they can actually minimize the waste that is going up into the landfill, because ultimately the waste that is ending up into landfill is a cost to a city municipality, right? So if we better utilize those resources, we can realize better potential from that material.
Right. Absolutely. There's a great alignment of incentives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christine. So, colleagues, if you have any questions, just raise your hand. Thanks to great question from Christine. I also see a value on this platform. If you can apply in a country base, then actually you can not only just generate additional revenue. Of course, this is a very good incentive for the local government. but also it become a comparable platform, can benchmarking the performance of the local government. So maybe in some certain case, the federal government or the central government can give some incentive for the local government who are performing well, willing means they are not only just willing to invest more infrastructures, but actually they are changing their management model to be more aligned with the recycling and even upcycling initiative, which is in the long term can reduce the waste generation and promote the utilization for upcycling to reduce the government revenue burdens. I think that's very cool. And then I just get another question from Matthews Incon Abris from ERDB DNR. He want to ask whether you can share more information about the audit process being employed to ensure the data being fed to the platform is reliable. Were there any hurdles in your case study in so far as tracking and characterizing the different waste materials along the entire supply chain? That's really a question from regulator like the ENR. Very good.
Okay. So this data is fed into the system based on different factors. Like there are data based on the device itself, so that makes it immutable. For example, you're feeding the data from your device from X location. You cannot replicate that the location, time, date information by uploading the image from somewhere else. So that features are already enabled into the system. That makes it immutable. And then there is the verification of the information that is fed by one stakeholder by next in the supply chain. On top of it, as the material moves and ultimately is recycled, the third party CPA, which is registered, can is entitled to audit the entire trail of data which is fed into the system. So there are different checks and balances are kept across different points, but of course, ultimately it is topped with a third-party CPA to verify and validate all the data which is generated.
Great. Yeah, it seems that the technology can all really help to avoid, as you say, the room for the fraud and for fraudulence and double counting. I think that's the most severe reasons why you have mentioned loudly in your presentation the less of trust between the recycling industry and then the ultimate upcycling industry. So they cannot have the same kind of the data to sharing. Yep.
And I would also like to add about the hurdles. So when we started this program, since
Mm.
it was a mobile app based application, so while we were working in Plaridel, but in some other municipality, we got to understand this challenge that okay, if there is no internet, then what will happen?
Oh.
So
Mm.
then we innovated again into the product, and we enabled the product to be functional without internet as well. So you can collect the data even without internet, but then when you come to Wi-Fi or again into the network connectivity, then you can upload all the data which was stored in your application already. So we use the GPRS tracking as well, and you
Okay.
cannot mute the same data again while you are at some other location. So we have
Okay.
done those product innovation while we come across different hurdles. Of course, it is learning that okay, this might work in some location. Not necessarily every product at every point in time will work everywhere. So there is no one solution that will fit to all the locations or all the stakeholders. So that also enable us to keep on improving based on the hurdles that we face, and there is always a room for improvisation.
Yeah. I think that's really a game changer, as you say. I think I would cite an example on the challenge that I have attend a webinar with the NEC from Japan. They have been uh, inventing a new AI system to enabling the reverse logistic. What I mean is that they can when the company factory they produce products and say ship to the 7-Eleven to sell it, and 7-Eleven at the same time will collect recycled material and back reverse logistic and back to the company. And at that time I asked them one key question that because in the society like Japan, because they have some certain standard and certain trust threshold. So basically, like the packaging material they use are in the similar quality standard. So it is uh, may not need to use very sophisticated things, then you can assume the quality of the recycled material is the similar. So they can use this as the way to assume the quality of the recycled material and then to calculate the recipe, how to mix it and send it to the company to reuse it again. So this is a very advanced system, but in the case like sorry, I have to compare. In the case of Philippines, then such things may not be exist because there are so many products are import, not being generated by the country itself. So maybe from China, from Japan, from Korea. That's the three most favorable imported origin in the supermarket I can go for. So in turn, like in the Philippines, because you had it already done in the Philippines, so at least for one cities. So do you see any problem arise when yes, we have now can ensure the traceability has no issue, but whether it's the quality of the recycled material because of they came from different origin, we're affecting the value you recycle and then upcycle because we see there's a 30% of the leak disposal way, I would say. You recycle a million, but upcycle only 700,000. That means 30% uh, is not lost, but the quality may not be up to the call it up to the standard of the upcycle customer they are looking for. So, did you see this kind of the issue often?
So we use AI models like we are using Google Circular Net, which help us identify what material it is. And like I mentioned about the digital product passports.
Mm.
So digital product passports carries the information of what are the different components that are used in making that
Oh.
product. So while going forward, of course, we have to start somewhere. We have started with good, but of course there is a lot more that we can do. So digital product passport will enable like
Mm.
what are the different components, what was the energy footprint, what is the carbon footprint of this material, what is the recycling potential, what is the upcycling potential. So all those things can also be done in these kind of programs. And for
Oh.
example, I'll take this liberty to give an example from Europe. So we are working with a company called Sequel in France, and they are making these luxury bags from the recycled content that include plastic, paper, as well as metal as well. So while we are working with them, we also did the life cycle assessment
Mm.
of the product, which integrate the different information from where the plastic is getting collected. For example, they are collecting some of the plastic from France, then it is going to Morocco for recycling and converting it into pellets. These pellets are then going into Spain to convert it into yarn, and this yarn is converted into fabric in France and then processed into the bags. So all this material journey is tracked through our platform. And ultimately, when the product is formed, of course, they are sourcing the material for this bag as well. They are sourcing material like metals. They are sourcing material like recycled or upcycled paper or some other alternate materials as well. So since it is a more of vegan product, so they are not using the leather-based material.
Mm.
but synthetic leather or resins, etc., they are using. So from what all different sources they are bringing in this material is all information embedded into this digital product passport. So going forward, of course, this will help a lot as a consumer, that what are the different components that I am using and what is the possible fate of this material that I am using. What is the recycling potential? How better I can utilize the or realize the value of this product.
Yeah, I think that's a another good point that we'll probably we should discuss more offline, because I think normal consumer product may be uh, relatively straightforward and simple, but we are consuming more sophisticated consumable like EV, electrical vehicle. There's so many different material inside it. How to do the digital product design, I think we have a lot to discuss, because we probably will go to this uncharted area for some time in different countries. So, but I see the challenge, but I also see the opportunity, because yeah, you have mentioned about the delay of not yet 100% delay, but I would say more than 90% is delay of the international global plastic treaty, which I think is a kind of backbone or the buffer for you to absorb any international commodity price fluctuation. Because we have discussed before that I think the government, why they need to sign on this international plastic treaty is provide a certainty for the business operator like you that in so every at least the signing countries will honor this international plastic treaty and make the EPL system really work and make the producer really pay for what they have created, the plastic footprint or carbon footprint, and then in the system they put as the leaflet or kind of incentive in different way to for the recycle industry like you and other upcycling users. They will want to use it in the way to recirculate and to really do the circularity economy in this sense. So I think that's a lot we can discuss, and then I would like to give the last chance to the audience to raise the question, or we would like to close the section earlier this time if there's no more question from the audience. Do you see anyone raise their hand? So sometimes I did not see it. Sorry for my not so nice.
No, we addressed everyone.
Okay, great. Okay. I don't. I think it's good that because Sophia, you have really make the presentation so powerful and very fast. So we are very, but in the meantime, it really stimulate a lot of the question, not only from the ADB attendants ourselves, but also our friends from DNR and for others UNDP colleagues. So you can see that this platform is open. So we really want to create an open environment to let the friends to discuss all together in a safe discussion manner. So I would like to thank for Sophia again, and I will definitely talk to you more on the digital product design, and also learn from this plastic credit, what ADB can do more on that. Okay, so in this sense, I will thanks again for Sophia to take this to give her journey, and then very innovative product, and also very insightful field work experience with the local government in the Philippines, which is a very different context than the your own original countries. But this is the real country we as ADB want to work with. So we learn a lot, and thank you again for your passion. I see the passion, and also the very insightful knowledge and very open-minded to share your challenge and your view on the how to make the sectors grow more healthy in the long run. Thanks again,
Thank you.
Sophia.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you.
Much
Thank
thanks
you.
for the opportunity.
Yes.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.